Moving to a new home, it's got to be one of life's most exciting chapters, right? But let's be real, it's also a massive project. And in the middle of all that chaos of packing and planning, there's this one super important step that's so easy to overlook, making sure your stuff is actually protected on the move. So let's unpack what that really means. First up, let's dive right into the problem itself, the risks of the road. Because, you're not just moving boxes and furniture, you're moving your life. And sending your entire life on the back of a truck, well, that comes with some risks we definitely need to talk about. I mean, this is the question, isn't it? It's the one that kind of keeps you up at night before the big day. What happens if that family heirloom, your brand new TV, or that box of irreplaceable photos gets damaged, or worse, just disappears somewhere along the way?
Now, you might be sitting there thinking, hold on, doesn't the moving company cover all that? And the answer is kind of, but not really. See, their standard liability is often based on weight, and it's shockingly low. We're talking about 60 cents per pound. So let's say your 50-pound, $1,000 TV gets smashed, they might only give you $30 for it. 30. Relying on that alone is a huge, huge gamble. But hey, don't worry. There is a specific solution that's designed for this exact problem. It's called transit insurance. So let's take a look at how this financial safety net actually works.
So, what is transit insurance? Put simply, it's a policy that is tailor-made to protect your stuff while it's on the move. It's there to cover you financially for all those unexpected bumps, drops, and mishaps that can happen on the road between your old place and your new one. And the process is incredibly simple. Your coverage literally kicks in the second the movers pick up your first box. It stays active the whole journey, and it only ends once everything is delivered safely to your new home. It's just seamless protection from start to finish. Okay, so we know what it is, but what does this safety net actually catch? What are you really protected from? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. The coverage is actually pretty comprehensive. We're talking about protection against accidental damage, if something gets dropped or mishandled. It covers loss or theft of your items, and even those big unforeseen disasters like a fire or an accident involving the moving truck. It can even cover your fragile items as long as you packed them up properly. Okay, this brings up a really common question, especially for people who have those complicated moves. What if your stuff has to go into a storage unit for a few weeks between houses? Are you still covered then? And the key takeaway here is, you've got to ask. A standard policy might only cover your belongings while they are actively on the truck, but lots of insurers will offer an extension to cover that temporary storage period. It is so important to clarify this with them so you don't have any gaps in your protection. Now let's clear up another big point of confusion. What's the difference between your regular home insurance policy and this transit insurance we're talking about? The easiest way to think about it is this. Your home insurance protects your belongings when they are at your insured address, from stuff like fire or break-in. But the minute those things leave your property, that coverage often just stops. Transit insurance is designed specifically for that in-between phase, the journey itself, and it covers risks that are unique to being on the road. So all of this brings us to the big question, right? How do you know if you actually need to go out and get a separate policy for your move? Well, you should seriously consider it if any of this sounds like you. First, go check your current home policy. You might find its transit coverage is pretty weak or maybe even non-existent. Second, just take a quick inventory of what you're moving, especially those big-ticket items like electronics, art, or antiques. And finally, if you just want that peace of mind knowing you're covered for the full replacement value, not just pennies per pound, then a dedicated policy is a really smart move. Okay, so after all of that, what's the one single most important idea to take away from this whole thing? This quote just nails it. A moving company's basic liability is a starting point, sure, but it's just not enough. Transit insurance is what comes in and fills that gap, giving you real, complete financial protection and, just as important, it gives you peace of mind. And at the end of the day, that's really what it all boils down to. You invest so much time, money, and emotion into your belongings and the move itself. So the final question you have to ask yourself is, isn't that investment worth protecting?